Parking in LA, so I'ma send a Uber.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, welcome to my channel, because if you're new, you ain't been here before. So if you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I go by Kay the Witness literally everywhere that you could possibly go by that. And today is a video that I've been wanting to record for so long and haven't been able to because I was still working at that old job, but now I'm not. And so I welcome you guys to my Sally Beauty story time. And of course I'm not gonna just be talking at you guys. I'm gonna be doing my makeup as well, just for fun, for no reason. So I have a little outline here to the side, and I'm gonna be like looking at it. I have my contacts in, so not too much on the hair, y'all. You know what, I'll brush it for you, but not too much on the hair because I haven't gone anywhere in the past 24 hours. But let's go ahead and get into this story time. So just a quick little disclaimer. All opinions are my own. There's no one influencing me, and this doesn't reflect necessarily what Sally Beauty as a company represents or what their guidelines are. This is strictly just what happened to me from my point of view, telling it to you guys. I won't be stating any actual names, so if I do say one on accident, I'm not gonna like re-say it or anything. I'm literally just gonna take out the audio and cover my mouth so you guys can't read my lips, because this is a thing, okay? So, but I won't be saying any names. In general, I liked everyone that worked there, like as people. So like, I liked them as people. I do have this video split up into sections, so if you want to skip to a certain part, there'll be timestamps that will tell you like which section I'm on. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's just get into it. Okay. First, let me get my tools out. Let me get my mouse tools out.
Hot dog!
Let me start with why I started to work at Sally's. I started to work at Sally's because I didn't like the job that I was at. So I quit it like basically on the spot. I didn't have a job yet, so I was jobless for like a month and a half. I was applying to so many places and like nobody was hiring me. And then I got an interview at Sally's and I was like, I need to take this because I have bills to pay. And like I really just needed any type of money. And so like I was willing to I was gonna take a pay cut either way, but I was willing to take a steep pay cut if it meant that I could get enough hours to make that money. I've worked at Sally's since October of 2022. I've worked there for like 9 months. This is the Power Grip Primer by e.l.f. Now I'm gonna talk about the hiring process. So basically I got called in for an interview. She took me to the back. Manager A took me to the back, interviewed me, and it was like real easy. So yeah, it was a short interview, but I was offered $10 an hour, and I was like, I just took it because I was like, she texted me later on and she was like, are you sure you're okay with $10? And I was like, I really need like 13 like minimum. So I got that, except the company was planning on going up anyways, so the new base pay was going to be $13 an hour. So manager A was just as new as I was, and so we learned basically everything together. Like I didn't really have any proper training because she had just finished training, and it was really just me and her, which I'll get into more. So yeah, it was really just me and her. Like she was new, she was just as new as I was. Like she started working like a week before I did, and so whenever she wasn't there, I was working by myself, and so I had to like learn a lot of things on the spot and figure things out on my own, which was really hard. So now we're gonna talk about what it was like working at store one, because I worked at 2 stores while working at Sally's. Store one, literally the day that I got hired, 2 people quit, and I was like, oh. Well, actually, okay, 1 person actually did quit and ghosted. The other person was under investigation, and so they were on leave. They were under investigation for theft. Two people were still working there other than me and the manager, but they quit shortly after because one of them was claiming that the manager A was being racist. And I still don't know where that came from. Like, literally nobody knows like where that came from, but she wasn't. And so they left, and then the other person left because they thought they deserved like a higher role but didn't put in any extra work to get that, so they just ended up leaving. Also because manager A, first of all, manager A confided in me about a lot of stuff that was going on in the company, and so like she was pretty transparent with me about stuff, but not so much with everyone else. The second employee that quit soon after would talk to manager A would go to the higher ups and be like, this person wants to be promoted. Higher ups are like, there's no position for her. And she would just be like, well, manager A would be like, there's no telling what they're gonna do. So basically, she just wasn't being clear with her, basically. And so she left because of that. So after the other two employees left, the hours were split between me and manager A, which was really taxing on me. Thankfully, I was in online school at that time, so I really could work like whatever hours. It was still like really taxing and just like, okay, like this is getting to be a lot. I worked upward of like 40 hours a week, but at Sally's, nobody, literally no one is allowed to work overtime. Manager A and I literally never worked together. If we did, it was only for a couple of hours and then one of us would leave. She never worked on Sundays, so I would be there Sundays open to close, and then other days like she would forget to tell me that she wasn't coming in, or like forget to tell me stuff, and so I was just like, well, I'm not staying here all freaking day because you forgot to tell me that you weren't coming in, so the store's closing at like 3 o'clock because I've been here since the morning time. And upper management allowed for it to happen because there was literally nothing they could do. I barely ever got breaks, not because they wouldn't allow me to take breaks, but because of the flow of customers, and like I would just never get the chance. Doing truck all by myself, and it will be going super slow because it was literally just me. Whereas in store 2, they put like 4 people in the schedule during truck days so that it can get put away. But anyways, but in general, manager A's communication wasn't super great. And so, like I said earlier, she was still transparent with me about a lot of things, but like her general communication was just like, not it. But yeah, like I said earlier, I had to learn a lot of things on my own. So I couldn't really call manager A and be like, can you help me? Like, I don't know what to do in this situation, because she didn't know either. And so I would have to call other store managers, and they would just talk to me like I was stupid. And I was like, I really don't know what's happening here. Like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, have you called your manager? Obviously. Like, why wouldn't I call my manager first? This is Tattoo Studio by Maybelline, New York. So next we're gonna talk about the store closing. Y'all, literally a month into me working at Sally's, we get a store call about stores closing down. And they're like, we'll contact the stores that are gonna be closing. Literally 30 seconds after the call ends, they call our store. Mind you, actually, it wasn't a store call. It was a call for the store managers. My manager was on break, so I took the call and sat in there for her. So the last day we were open to the public was December 9th. And literally all that time I was telling customers like, yeah, we're closing in a month, we're closing in a month, we're closing in a month. You know, just to get them prepared. Because after a minute, we wasn't gonna be there anymore. We had to get everything out of the back room. Our back room was full of stuff. We like opened like foldable tables and we put it in the front. We will do behind the cash register on the cash wrap and just be like, all this stuff, please buy it. There were more and more discounts every day, bigger and bigger discounts every day. and I still had to work a lot of those hours by myself. So like, you know, people would come in and be like, is there anyone else to help me? And I'm like, no, it's literally just me. Thankfully they were nice enough to just be like, okay, just wait. But like, it's frustrating because it's just like, there should be more than one person in a store. This isn't a boutique, okay? So after the store closed, like officially closed on December 9th, we had 1 week from then to pack up stuff for the other stores to send it to them. And that's where I met manager B and C. I liked them both when I met them at that time, so I didn't really think anything of it. So after we packed up everything, it actually took us less than a week. It only took us like 4 or 5 days. But after we packed up everything, we got to take home whatever was left over, which was a lot of stuff. Using Milani's eyeshadow primer. So yeah, we got to take home literally whatever was left over. Like, it didn't matter. I took home mostly nail polish related stuff. Like I wasn't like taking home whatever I wanted, like just because. Like, I took stuff that I actually wanted, that I knew I wanted to try, you know, stuff like that. Everyone else was just grabbing literally whatever. I'm not saying that like I was better than them or anything because I grabbed less, but I was really shocked. So let's get on to store 2. So after we packed up the store, about a week later, December 16th is when I started at my new store. And I met all my coworkers and they were all really nice. Like, none of them were really like weird or anything. Like, we all got along. And I don't know, they were just cool. Like, we were all the same age except for manager B, who's obviously a full-grown woman. But time really flew by after I started working at store 2. I have to tell y'all, this is Urban Decay's single eyeshadow, Wild One. During that time, like before manager C took over, I met my friend Brianna. She wasn't a coworker, but she came into the store, and then I saw her at Walmart and I was like, hey, it's you. And then we just became friends. So I would say, like, out of my time at Sally's, she's probably the best thing that's happened to me there. She's literally such a sweetheart. By the way, y'all, I'm not a professional, okay? Like, and then we get word that manager B is leaving our store. And we're all just like, because hands down, first of all, manager B is probably the best manager I've ever had at any job. We were all just really shocked. Like, we didn't want her to leave. And then manager C comes in to work a shift and meet some of us, which I wasn't there because it's out of my availability, but 2 of my coworkers work with manager C, and one of them is like, I do not like her vibe at all. And I was like, ugh, like, that's not great. And so everyone got wind of that, and we all started scurrying to look for jobs. Now manager C, like I told you guys, I met her when we were packing up store 1, and I just forgot that was her name, but like I recognized her face. So here's another little tidbit. So when I was transferred to store 2, they were already fully staffed, and so I was an extra person, and so it was me and 4 other people. Someone else was hired right before manager C took over, and we were like, why was this person hired? Then manager C takes over, and they transfer another person in that's full time. And so now we're 3 people over, including myself, and the hours are stretched very thin. But either way, there were 3 new people in the store, one of them being manager C, which replaced manager B. So now we're gonna talk about why I left. So I'm gonna tell you guys why I left, and then afterwards I'm going to state my opinions about everyone there, like my raw opinions. So first of all, the first things first, I was not getting enough hours. They were saying, oh, we're gonna cut hours for everybody, and they did. Like, they cut down the budget hours, but mine were cut the most. I ended up coming going from like 18 hours a week to 5 hours a week, working 1 day a week. Of course I'm not having that. And like I needed money. Like it got to the point where like I used to be able to make my car note in one paycheck. It took both my paychecks a month. And then I would have like literally no other money for anything else. And so I had to start donating plasma because I literally couldn't make enough money to pay my credit card, to pay other things that I needed for myself. So that was like really stressful. And it put a strain on me because I was just like, I literally have nowhere to, like I have no money, no nothing. And now I'm getting 1 day a week. Like I can't make any, I can't live off of that. Towards the end of my time being there, I ended up feeling singled out. Like I genuinely felt singled out. Like I genuinely felt like that I was being like set aside and like being pointed at and laughed at. Simply just because like at first of all, I thought it was crazy. I was like, am I just like making things up? Because I'm an overthinker and I've healed enough to be able to recognize when I might be repeating that pattern again. So I'm like asking myself like, am I overthinking it? Like what's really going on, you know? But I was thinking about it, like there's people who, like some of my coworkers will have worse numbers than me sometimes and they'll get more hours than I do. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. Like if I'm doing well, why not give me more hours? But if I'm not giving any hours, how am I gonna stay in practice and actually do my job well? And there's no support, like what's going on? And first of all, I was already the only black girl in that store. Like, we have to be realistic here. All of my coworkers were white except one who was a full-timer. And I'm not saying, let me make this clear, I'm not saying that they're being racist or anything like that. No. But what I'm saying is, growing up as a black girl, first of all in Cobb County, okay? Cobb County, it's getting more progressive here, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of white people here. And so it's easy to feel singled out, like really easy to feel singled out when you're a person of color or when you're black, because like you're just like, you can tell, like you walk into somewhere, and not everywhere, but sometimes depending on the store you're going to, you walk in and it's like 99% white people and they all kind of look at you like, what are you doing here, and so like it's easy to feel singled out when like you're the only person that like visually is different than everyone else, you know what I'm saying? And so I already kind of felt like weird being the only black girl there. So I really thought it was crazy, and I was like, dang, like am I overthinking this? And then I talked to a couple coworkers and I realized that I was not crazy and that I was not overthinking it, and that manager C was singling me out. It actually got so bad that I went in there with my dad one day to get shampoo conditioner, and when we left, and manager C was there, and when we left the store, he asked me why she was acting that way towards me. And my dad, he likes to mind his business. He doesn't like to get involved in our business. He doesn't really like to stick his foot anywhere. But if it's bad enough that my dad brings it up to me as soon as we walk out the store, like we barely made it to TJ Maxx, and he has to ask me about it, that has to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? Can you all suggest eyeliners in the comments, because I hate this eyeliner, but it's the only one that I like. I prefer a liquid eyeliner like this. We're not gonna talk about it. We're just gonna pretend like the eyeliner looks good, okay? Because I'm not taking it off to redo it, because I'm not going nowhere. Another reason why I'm leaving, the company honestly isn't run that well. And anybody who works there or knows somebody that works there knows that the company is not run that well. Yeah, and then like when the company makes a bad decision, the retail associates and the sales associates, like we basically had to take the fall for it, and it like trickles down onto us, and that really is not the best feeling. For the pay, all the stuff that you had to do, it was too much. First of all, they want us to sell. You get no commission. But for the pay, like, don't get me wrong, the base pay isn't bad, but for all the stuff that they want you to do, it's not worth it. So it's just kind of like, what am I doing all this for, you know? And then like, because I was getting less hours, I was just like, I'm not gonna try because I'm not getting any hours, so what's the point? And so I asked manager C for more hours, and she kind of just brushed it off. She was like, oh, so-and-so only wants to work 1 day a week, like you can take whatever's left over. So-and-so was only working 2 days a week. So-and-so had another job already that was giving them over 30 hours a week. Also, the company doesn't really show that much appreciation towards their employees. Like, not even towards the managers. It's really just like a high five, like, oh, good job, and that's it. Like, there's literally no incentive to do well. But yeah, those are all the reasons that I left. And now we're gonna get into my final opinions on basically everyone that I interacted with there. Disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer. This is not to attack anyone's character. Like, genuinely, it's not to attack anyone's character, like, at all. This is just, again, how I perceived how I was interacted with by other people, and like what I witnessed and what I thought about it. So all thoughts are my own, and again, do not reflect Sally's policies or their beliefs or anything like that. So starting with Manager A. Manager A was really, really sweet. Like, she was a really nice girl, but her communication was so off, and it was hard working with her, and she wasn't that professional, to be honest. Like, she would be on the phone in front of customers and stuff like that, and it was just bad, y'all. It was bad. Manager B, 10 out of 10, the best manager I've ever had. I told y'all that earlier. Now Manager C, I'm gonna have the most to say about them because I worked with them most recently. I'm gonna start us off by saying I do appreciate the work that Manager C had to do to get accustomed to a whole new team and kind of reel everything in. Manager C definitely knows how to get results, and so when they came to our store, we started making the daily goal and stuff like that, which is great to me, you know. Now I will say, as a person, Manager C was cool, but as a manager, not so much. It was a lot because as a manager, they were not really that great. Probably to upper management they were because they got results, but to me, not so much. Manager C wasn't really professional. She loved to gossip, and she likes to entice people to gossip with her. And I'm like, as a manager, like, that should not be a thing. Like, you shouldn't be encouraging your employees to gossip about you. Not about you, but to gossip with you. Like, that's not good. And like, Manager C would talk to us about our coworkers behind their backs, thinking that like it was fine or whatever. And unfortunately for them, like, we were all pretty close. Like, we were close enough that we would talk to each other about it, so they couldn't really get away with it. Again, y'all, I'm not a professional, so please don't do me, okay? Please. Also, Manager C singled me out, and like I told you earlier, like, I thought it was crazy. I was not, because all the coworkers that I talked to about it told me that they noticed it. But literally everyone picked up on it. My coworkers, my dad. And I genuinely think it was because anytime she tried to gossip or like try to have a little disputes or something, like, I was not feeding into it. Like, I was just like, I don't know, I don't really care, like, you know. And it was true, like, I really didn't care. I like to mind my business. Like, I don't really like to have opinions on things that I'm not fully informed about. And so like, she would talk about stuff and I would be like, I don't know nothing about that. But like I was saying, like, she would try to have a little disputes or stuff like that. There was times where I literally felt baited. Like, she was baiting me and waiting for me to say something. Like, one time we were doing truck, and I asked her, I was like, is there a certain way that you want me to do truck or anything like that? And she was like, no, I just kind of want you guys to do it like how you were used to doing it. So I'm doing it how I'm used to doing it. And how we would do it is we would open up boxes and boxes at a time, like 3-4 boxes at a time, organize everything on one of the carts, and then take baskets and like put it away. And so I was like, had my little basket, and she was like, I still don't get the baskets. And I was like, we just do it, like, we organize it so we can just stay in one area and not walk around, because a lot of the boxes, none of the stuff was in the same aisle. So like, why? Let's just organize it and then we can get through, right? Yeah. And she was like, that's dumb. And I was like, is it? And she was like, yeah, I mean, I just carry the box around. And I was like, well, I just like to do it this way, so I'm gonna do it this way since you said I can do it however. And it was like one of those situations where it's just like, why are you speaking to me this way? Like, we're not friends, like we're coworkers. Like, I wouldn't mind being friends with you, but I don't joke like that. Like, you're not gonna sit here and tell me something that I do is dumb. It would have been okay if she was like, okay, well, I do it this way because I think it's more efficient, blah, blah, blah. Don't say what I'm doing is dumb. Like, that's rude. And there were times like where I really did feel like she was literally talking down on me. Like, I felt like she was talking down on me and like being mean to me. I just felt belittled. I was just like, dang, like, why is she talking to me like I'm dumb? And she talks to customers like they're dumb sometimes too, which is really shocking. I'm just like, why are you talking to the customer like they're stupid? Another thing, Manager C will sit there and smile in your face when everyone else is around, and then they'll be fake with you when they think nobody's watching. But this happened with 2 other of my coworkers too. Like, they experienced the exact same thing. Also, can y'all suggest a setting spray? I like my makeup to look dewy. Like, I don't, not like dewy, like wet all the time, because my face does start to produce oils, but I don't want a super matte look. Let me see. My opinion on upper management, I liked our area manager when we had one. They dissolved her position, and so now we don't have one. And so she actually works at my new job as the district manager. District manager though, she was a robot. I'm sure she's cool, like in real life, like if you know her personally, but she was a robot. That's all I got to say about her. The coworkers, I liked everybody. There's only one person I didn't really like, and that was really because I never worked with them, so I didn't know much about them. So random things that I just thought would be interesting for y'all to know. You literally don't get to sit down unless you're on your break. The thing is though, because of the floor that's in the store, the flooring is so hard. And so like, it's really uncomfortable to stand on after a while. Like I said earlier, you don't get commission on anything. Nothing at all. We did get a discount, 30% off literally everything. Literally everything. There was no limit to it whatsoever. And we got monthly samples as well, so like we would get free products of like something that was new, so that we could learn about it, so that we could sell it basically. So let's do what it was like actually leaving. So I told manager C, I was like, look, I'm leaving. This is the last day you'll be able to schedule me, right? I learned from a coworker that they actually planned on firing me back in February. So let me explain that real quick, right? So basically, when store 1 was closing, they were like, we're gonna make sure you guys have somewhere to go, so we'll either give you a store to transfer to or pay you severance, right? I hadn't been working long enough for severance to really matter, so I was like, okay, let's transfer. So manager A was gonna go to store 3, we'll call it, right, on a different part of the city, and the DM, which is district manager, was like, okay, that'll be a permanent assignment, like, go stay there. But then the DM called me. It was like, do you actually want to work at store 2? It looks like it's much closer to you. I was like, oh yeah, sure, that's cool. And so I'm going there. Now, there was no clarification of like, okay, this one is a temporary assignment. Like, I was just going with the, okay, this is a permanent assignment. So they planned to fire me in February and just never did. The extra person that was hired after me, not the full-timer, but the other part-timer, was supposed to be my replacement, because they figured that I was gonna leave anyways. Or like, I feel like they were just trying to make me leave, because at Sally's, like, they really don't fire people. Another thing is, I think I said this earlier, I was supposed to have an exit interview. So I keep looking at myself, and I'm gonna keep looking at myself, because so what? I was supposed to have an exit interview, and I never had it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I really didn't want to do it. So again, these are all my own thoughts. No one's telling me to say this. This is all just my own personal opinion and based off of what I experienced and how I perceive those experiences. And this doesn't reflect Sally's as a company's opinion or own beliefs. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I will literally see y'all Friday. Bye.